I chose to focus on gender when looking at online media and recruitment efforts by terrorist groups because they are specifically targeting women. They do this for a variety of reasons. Some of those reasons include knowing that women can give birth to the next generation of fighters. They raise up the young children at home to teach them that the West is the enemy and that they should fight for the cause. Women speak to other women, and so they have a large role in recruiting other women. Women are also used to get a voice out and really show that the caliphate is this amazing, beautiful, romantic place that they should raise their children in. So they are used to romanticize Sharia law. Women can also shame men into joining the cause as well by kind of taunting them and telling them, oh look, there's not enough men to join the cause, so we have to turn to women to fight this fight. We haven't seen anything like our present day, the way ISIS is using women. We haven't seen young women being recruited in such large numbers. And these women are coming from Western countries that have education, they have supportive families. They're not fanatically religious. A lot of them don't speak Arabic. Many of them have no idea what they're getting into, but the idea of fighting for a cause is what is driving these women to go and join groups such as ISIS. Influence at the home is absolutely vital to fighting this terrorist fight. It's the women on the ground that have the key information and knowledge and what's going around in their community, what's being said, who's being recruited, who might be starting the next homegrown attack. Women very much know what is going on in their community, and they are the ones that, again, are raising the children at home. And if we want to put a stop to this endless cycle of violence, then we must tackle the next generation and look toward the future as opposed to the current fighters on the ground right now. ISIS specifically targets young women in the West for a variety of reasons. They know that these women carry European passports, often European passports. They're not going to come across as a threat to the general public or security, so they can evade security checkpoints much easier. And when they use young women, it has the effect on the general public that nobody is safe and that terrorists are living in our backyard, so to speak. We certainly don't seem to be focusing our efforts on how to counter the threat of these young Western women. Women use online methods in order to attract other women to the cause. There have been many tweets and posts by women that have already joined the group and are tweeting from Syria saying, oh, life is so great, you need to come right away, this is what we've always waited for, this is the land of the caliphate where you can raise your children. And it does entice other women. It does have an effect on other women. It does have a huge impact when a woman straps a bomb to herself. When we see in the news that there were 50 people killed at a wedding and the bomber was in fact a woman, this resonates deeply and has a stronger impact on us than if we hear that it's a man. This sort of goes against the notion of women being nurturing and loving and kind and all of that, and so it has a larger impact when we see that young women are acting as suicide bombers. Women within these terrorist groups don't hold a lot of status. We see them used behind the scenes, raising children, having children, marrying fighters, trying to gain sympathy for the cause and recruiting other women. And then we see them as suicide bombers because their lives are sort of expendable to these groups. We don't see them out on the front lines and holding high ranks within the group. My research shows that women's roles are indeed evolving. The role that social media and online methods are playing, giving women a voice to other women, is absolutely a new role that we have seen. We have seen that the women that are recruited, these young 15-year-old girls that travel to Syria, they really don't know anything about Islam or Sharia law or the reality of it or what it all means. It just sounds good to them to run off and marry a jihadi fighter and fight for a cause in which really they have no understanding of what they're getting into and what these groups believe. So what I discovered throughout my research that certainly surprised me was the way in which women are evolving their role within these terrorist groups. The way in which women are used today is certainly different than what we've seen in the past, specifically using these online methods, and also recruiting other women in such large numbers. So the question is, how is their role going to evolve next? What are we going to see next? How are these women going to be used? My prediction is that the role of women will evolve. I think that they will take a larger role in recruiting even more women and more young people. I don't think that we're going to see a larger number of women actually fighting on the front lines in these groups. I think that they'll be used to have babies, and I think that as long as these groups exist, we will still see oppression of women within the groups. But I think that their role online will continue to grow. So one of the points that I want to drive home for analysts and planners that are studying this topic, that are looking at this issue and how we can change things in the future, it's very mixed research out there as to what is working and what is not. We don't have a firm grasp on successful counterterrorism methods for this online targeting and recruitment. I think that we will see more research done on this topic, but it's still a growing field in terms of national security. Women have been used within terrorist groups for a very long time, but not in the ways that we've seen now. Their role is definitely evolving, and I think will continue to evolve.